name is Christina Vega. I will be starting our presentation on our group project. We're group number 7. We're going to be covering, our topic is the Moxy South Beach Hotel. So what about the Moxy? So a little bit of backstory about the Moxy. The Moxy South Beach has been open for about 9 months. I've been here for about 5 since its inception, and it's located in the heart of South Beach, so that's on 915 Washington. It's a very popular area for very similar types of hotels, a lot of boutique hotels. We have about 250 rooms, and it is a partial service hotel. So what that means is that they don't have all the traditional amenities of a full service hotel, like laundry service, and room service is another one of them. There's a couple of characteristics that define a full service hotel, and we're considered a partial. We are a subsidiary of Marriott Group, and it is designed to be targeted towards not necessarily a younger demographic, but a demographic that is more into boutique style and kind of new age hotel service. So a lot of people are willing to pay maybe for better venue space, pool space, better restaurant outlets, and maybe smaller rooms. And that's the way that it's designed. It is very unique from any of the other Marriott concepts, and it is a brand new property. All of it is built out brand new, and it's super distinguished. If you took a look at all the boutique style hotels in South Beach, they all kind of have the same format. Some of them are partial service, some of them are full service, but none of them are quite as unique as we are at the Moxy. The Moxys are, by definition, playful, affordable, and stylish. And they're designed to give everything guests want and nothing they don't. So like I mentioned, maybe this particular demographic focuses on having great outlets for food, beverage consumption, having activities that are centered around the hotel. We also offer a lot of lobby space and studio space, but smaller rooms. And that's how you're able to have an APR or revenue per room that's a little bit less. So it's around $200 in off season per room. And during on season, for example, right now during Basel, it's around $600 a room on average. So what are our project questions? Like what are we trying to optimize, right? And what key optimization tools are we trying to optimize for? So I work in the F&B side, and that's the side that we are going to concentrate on. F&B stands for food and beverage. So we're going to talk about our descriptive questions first. So we opened in the middle of the pandemic. This was amongst other things. We actually delayed our opening, but this was during the COVID pandemic and when restaurants were still at 50% occupancy. So upon opening, we had a food cost of food averaging 52% amongst the 4 months that we had surveyed. And this led to, this was amongst all the hotels were experiencing very similar things, but because we opened during that climate, it exacerbated the problem. There's also a really high cost of labor, which high cost of labor and untrained labor always directly correlate to higher than average cost of food. Despite this difficult climate, though, we were able to get our cost of food down to 32%. This is still above industry average. So for 5 outlets in a hotel, and considering that only one of them is a fine dining type of outlet, we really should have a food cost around 29 to 28%, taking an average of all the outlets. But this is a very difficult climate, and purchasing power from such a small restaurant group is difficult. So we are, the F&B operations is separate from the Marriott. We operate as part of the Coyo Taco Group and 1-800-LUCKY, Oasis. That's the part of the ownership that we function with. Also, as you know, we've experienced a tremendous amount of supply chain issues, all types of increases amongst beef, fish, oil. I mean, you name it, we have it. And those types of things are hard to substitute because they're pretty baseline. So no matter what supplier you go to, there's going to be higher prices on oil, higher prices on beef, And in the case of this project, what I wanted to focus on is one of the worst performing outlets, and that's Como Como. So Como Como is a high-end seafood restaurant. It's a marisqueria. And one of the worst performing items is worst performing in terms of cost of goods, not sales, is the highly perishable ones. So that would be the Tikin Cheek and the Branzino, Pescado a la Talla. They're just two main fish, the snapper and the Branzino. And we couldn't really find a way to capture sales order effectively. So we either lost out on sales or we over ordered, right? So that led to waste. There's only a window of about 2 days before the fish goes bad. All of our fish comes in fresh every day. So what about our prescriptive questions, right? So with using some type of business analytics tools, we'll be able to properly forecast, and this will decrease waste and capture sales efficiently. By virtue, we will then lead to a decrease in cost of goods and increased profitability. One of the benefits to more profit is also the fact that we don't get a lot of capture from the hotel. So more revenue means we'd be able to capture from outside. Much of the guests that are inside the hotel don't come to eat here. It's just a demographics problem. The hotel targets younger people who are at around the $200 rate, right? They're not at a $1,000 rate, $2,000 rate. So not all of them are willing to come into this type of restaurant and spend $100 per person. So if we can increase profits, we'll be able to get the marketing efforts out to capture outside of the hotel. And that's where I think a lot of the increased revenue can come from. So we're going to talk about our data. This specific report that we're using is called an item sales report. And it allows you to pick a date range and pick different types of, like, I think weather is one of them, but it's not that reliable. It allows you to pick different variables. So hotel occupancy is the one that I would like to focus on because I think that the correlation would be strong. That was my hypothesis between the amount of fish we sell and hotel occupancy. So this data source is the point of sale system. It's proprietarily known as PosiTouch. It's a Marriott software or sponsored software. And it includes revenue, quantity sold, and percent of category sold. Sometimes the category could be everything from liquor to fish, appetizer, entree. It's broken up like that. And then obviously by outlet. This analysis we're conducting is from August 8th all the way to November 1st, so around 3 months. About 3 months. The two variables we are going to provide linear regression for are the quantity ordered and the hotel occupancy. Our regression variables are as follows. X equals quantity, Y equals hotel occupancy. Our predictive variable is the hotel occupancy, and the independent variable is quantity. So the thing that we are using to be able to predict the quantity is hotel occupancy, and the independent variable is the quantity, so the amount of fish that we sell.
Good evening, guys. How you doing? My name is Gustavo Reina. I'm from Group 7. I'll be doing the part of our presentation that has to do with the analysis part. Sorry, I lost my glasses. Give me 1 second. The data source that we're going to use, we got it from the POS. We're going to be using the type of fish and the hotel occupancy to come up with our numbers. Basically, the method that we used, that we all agreed upon, is the linear regression. Linear relationships are easy to work with because most phenomenons are naturally linearly related. So it's a lot easier to come up with the numbers that we need to forecast, so we don't have to buy so much fish, and with the spoilage and all this stuff, especially with all this pandemic going on, people have to be very careful with what they're buying and what they're using and stuff like that. So then the first thing that we looked at was the hotel occupancy. We took an average for 7 days. This is the only manual calculation we did to do the linear regression. We identified that value as X in our next, you guys are going to see it in the slide. It's going to be the X value in our database slide. Okay, the next thing that we took was the Branzino, which is going to be the Y. All right, so then we took that formula. You're going to see it in the ANOVA linear regression model, and it's all put into the, all the percentages and all the numbers are in there. The next step, if you take our linear model and turn it into the formula, which is Y equals MX plus B. In this specific case, we use the Branzino, like I said, and provided the formula Y equals 0.492, and then in parentheses X minus 26.96. In creating this forecast, we then created a table, which in our our input of X, of the Branzino sold, gave us an output of Y, which is the hotel occupancy. It wasn't easy, there's a lot of data. It was new data. We didn't have old historical data to go by. I believe that the data was around 9 months. And we thought that the best analysis tool would be the linear regression. And hopefully you guys think the same. And they picked me for this part because I'm probably the best looking guy and the smartest guy on our team. And that was the only way we were going to get this thing across. That was just a joke, guys. Just lighten up, because I know everybody's had a long semester and these numbers are killing us, but it's been a very good learning experience, at least for me, and our team has been great. And it's just been a very good learning experience, and doing all these tables with the SAP and the Excel spreadsheets and putting it into play with this analysis format. It was a real learning experience to get the outcome, which you guys will see in the next presentations from my colleagues. All right, thank you very much.
Based on our results, we have concluded that a 0.70 R squared in business is considered significant. When it comes to our Branzino product, this product had the lowest percentage in regards to a sound prediction at 62%, but Tinkin and Pescado had a percentage above 70%. This isn't a surprise to the company when it comes to Tinkin, being that this is one of the highest selling products in the company. Yet there was a surprise at Pescado having a percentage of 72%, being that it takes a whole lot more work, time, and ingredients to produce this product. But as you can see in our slide, this one factor that could help in producing more sales for the Pescado would be the elegant and beautiful presentation of the dish.
So utilizing all this data that we've just provided, we can go ahead and make recommendations for this company as to what we think will be the best way to impact them. Using that linear regression forecast, we can go ahead and give a average in our model of a 75% predictability yield. So this way we can keep a proper balance between sales and inventory. These items are perishable items, so there is a very, very restricted shelf life, especially when it comes down to the food industry. You'll be working with anything from diseases, foodborne illnesses, and especially when it comes down to fish, we need to make sure that these numbers are in place, because it needs to have the most appropriate balance between product being good and profit for the company at the end of the day. So we can use that linear regression model to find that sweet spot between the two, and in essence help our company while providing adequate service to customers. So thanks a lot for taking the time to watch our video, and if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Thanks a lot.